Mary has a lamb. That's a little kid story. We're ready for the serious stuff.
Hi, this is Zia and this is
Kimmana.
and welcome to
Holistic Nomads TV,
where ancient wisdom and modern science can help you to have more clarity and energy in your life. So, today's topic we are going to talk about the difference between allopathic, which is modern medicine, conventional medicine, and
holistic medicine.
holistic medicine.
Using a truly holistic model, not holistic nutrition
Yeah.
or something like
So,
that.
first of all, because holistic word is kind of overused. So what does it mean with true holistic? Why do you even need to put true at the beginning of holistic?
Because the holistic word has been sort of bastardized and used in so many different ways, which are not necessarily holistic. Holistic means to address the whole of the person, to see their relationships, their lifestyle, their beliefs, their work, their food, and to be able to assess all of that and possibly apply treatment, lifestyle suggestion, herbs, foods, to all those domains of life.
Yeah.
So if the person says holistic nutrition, it's not really holistic if they're just using nutrition.
Yeah.
If they say holistic exercise, if they're just using exercise, it's not really holistic. So in the Ayurvedic school that I've co-created, we say holistic yoga therapist because it's a yoga therapist who now has a holistic toolkit to treat the digestive system and many other areas, foods, herbs, lifestyle, touch therapies, to make it holistic, truly. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, and I believe many other people out there curious too, about what drawn you to a true holistic healing world.
Yeah. Well, because I've come from a family of holistic healers and educators, I was already interested in the health path since I was young. Yet when I first started, I went in as a naturopathic doctor, or Naturopathy Degree in Australia. And during that time, I actually declined in my health quite a lot. Part of the reason was to do with the model that happens with a Western science model, which makes it much harder to be holistic. It's because in that model we look at the anatomy and physiology as our primary thing, and we start to look at how we can separate causes, parts into so many thousands of pieces. So we've got all of the different nutrient categories, and they're all different scientific categories, from carbohydrates to minerals to proteins and fats, and inside them there's more categories. And to be able to think holistically, you have to add up those 100 and something different nutrients and categories, and then think, how will they affect other areas? How will they affect the mind? How will they affect the lifestyle? How will they influence relationships? And this becomes a real headache to be holistic, especially if you want to look at exercise and lifestyle and many other things. So while my health was declining as a naturopathic student, I became very attracted towards Ayurveda, traditional medicine systems, where the model was first more about the connections of life. They used a scientific language that was devoted towards how can we see and highlight the connections that happen. So the connections between the way in which you sleep, the connections between certain relationship dynamics, the connections between that and body functions inside the system. So it's a more integrated holistic system from the beginning, which makes it easier to be holistic. So when I was treated as a naturopathic student by senior students, they would focus on the more superficial anatomy and physiology problems with me, or they called them problems. Oh, Kimmana is underweight, so Kimmana needs to gain weight. And they would apply treatments and foods and things to gain weight. They would apply, sometimes if they were getting a little bit more holistic, a gym therapy to gain weight. I had pain problems and digestive problems, so they applied specific therapies to do with those pain areas inside the body. The success rate was not working at all. I went downhill, I didn't gain weight, my pain got worse and worse, until eventually I went to India after I'd finished my naturopathy, and I studied with an amazing Ayurvedic doctor there, And he went through the process of educating me deeply in relation to what my body's messages were and how I could read them from the environment and my reaction inside the body to guide myself better. He also started to educate me on the fact that some of the causes were actually more lifestyle related, relationship related, and related to my specific Agni, my ability to digest food, not necessarily the foods that I ate, the ability to digest it. And when we treated those in a holistic lens, I got much better results through seeing the connections to many areas of life.
That's deep.
It's deep, yeah.
And that's why it can be complex for beginners to really understand what does holistic mean. So they try to simplify it with holistic nutrition, holistic this, holistic that, but really is true holistic healing is actually complex.
Yeah, which means that to really be holistic, I've found that a traditional medicine system model is needed. The Western science model is too difficult to be holistic in. Some people, sure, geniuses, go for it. Not a super genius, have okay intellectual prowess. I'm going to work with a holistic system where it's designed from the beginning to be holistic.
Don't
so Chinese medicine,
your
Ayurveda.
intelligence, because if you think you're just okay, I'm like
Ayurveda, Tibetan medicine, there's lots of great holistic systems, Thai medicine.
Yeah. So today's topic, we will be focusing on what's the difference between the modern medicines that is have evolved for the last 200, was it?
Yeah, 100 to 200 years.
Yeah. With, let's say, something like Ayurveda and other modern medicine that already exists for thousands of years.
So an interesting thing there is that modern medicine, we use the word scientist. It's like, has it been proved by science and those things. And even the word scientist or science is actually only like 100 and something years old. I think it's 160 years old. It's less than 200 years old, that word. So before that, everything was just hearsay. There was no scientists have said this. It's just, people have said this. Do we believe him or not? Whereas in the traditional Ayurvedic system, they focused on the ability to perceive knowledge and systems that connect to the environment together. So the knowledge is passed on through generations of this perceived environment knowledge, which they say was communicated to them through the divine. So this variation that we're going to be looking at is one that's influence of laws of nature, or one that's about scientific, last 160, 180 years, assessing into the body and the anatomy and physiology in the body. And we'll see how the difference of those look at this connected being to what we're all part of and just in the body. And first we're going to look at an example made up person, Mary.
To make it easier for people to understand this complex...
different models, So Mary has a headache.
I thought Mary has a lamb.
Mary has a lamb. That's a little kid story. We're ready for the serious stuff.
Okay.
So Mary has a headache. And this headache symptom she's perceiving, she decides to go and see an allopathic, a conventional medicine doctor to see. When she gets there, first the conventional medicine doctor, their main priority is this person going to have an emergency situation from that? They check vital signs. They check the blood pressure, they check the pulse, they see that, the vital signs are on, it's not life-threatening. They ask some questions, mainly associated around the symptom. When did the headache start? How intense is it? Where do you feel it? It's mostly focused around the symptom, and then the treatment will usually involve pain medication. Here's some medication to help with your pain. Very compassionate approach. You've got a problem, there's a symptom, I'm going to relieve you of your symptom. And then she continues, she takes the pain medication, and the headache comes back at one point. She says, I'm going to go back to the doctor. So she goes back to the doctor. This time he amps up the investigation. His amping up the investigation is still a bit more laboratory testing, anatomy and physiology in the body. Not so questioning into the many domains of life, he does some blood work. Takes out some blood, some basic blood work to see, maybe is there a problem in hormones, or is there a cholesterol or some other problem that could be contributing, a sugar imbalance to what's going on inside here. Still very in the body, searching for the cause of the pain in the body here. Then the treatment, or if he's really concerned, he might do a CAT scan or something, check if there's a tumour inside the brain or a growth that's developing. Then he prescribes pain medications again. It's still going to be about the pain normally, and in this regard the pain medications might be a longer script, so now you can have them for a longer period of time, or they might be stronger pain medications to try and take away the pain. Mary goes home, she tries this for a while, then the pain comes back again. She's got the headache again. She goes in for a third visit, and this time the doctor goes, well, I've tried most of the things that I have in my conventional medicine toolkit here, and therefore I'm going to send you to a specialist. So I'll send you to a brain specialist to see, is there a nerve problem? Is something going on specifically in the brain or the nerves? Or a pain clinic to help you deal with the pain. And that might be certain therapies that they apply. The treatment could be pain therapies, or could be more pain medications as well.
And then what's the difference with treatment using, what is that? Holistic
model. So in this regard, I'm going to specifically talk about as if it was using the Ayurvedic holistic model, because many different holistic models might work differently. So the school that I've co-created, Ayurvedic, is an international school of healing arts, and it has a holistic model within it. So Mary has a headache. She comes for the first visit with the Ayurvedic therapist, and that person is going to inquire and question and observe so many domains of life, because they want to understand not just about the headache, which the symptom of the headache is important, but more they want to understand what could be related to this headache, where within the body-mind structure has influenced this to come about. So they'll start with the symptom, what makes it better, what makes it worse, still trying to find out what else out there in the world is influencing it. Then they'll go into relationships and lifestyle and many other domains of life that may seem not related, yet they know if they can strengthen another system of the body, then there's less chance that the headache will occur, because the body's completely interrelated. You strengthen one part and it strengthens another part in turn. So they'll look at the whole of the person. Then their treatment is they assess and they go, actually from the assessment I see that the headache is related to dryness. And so they'll use a few treatments that could influence dryness. They're going to work a little bit with the pain, so a little bit of specific treatment, and they're going to look at, what's the connected system that influences dryness? So from Ayurveda, we would say Vata, from Chinese medicine, the kidney and the bladder meridian. There's some really great points for pain down here on the ankle. On the back of the ankle right here is urinary bladder 60, and on the other side of the ankle, just in the same spot, is kidney 3. We've got bladder 60 and kidney 3, same spot, other side. So these two are great for pain, great for general dryness throughout the body, so we build up the fluids of the body, meaning less chance towards a headache that's occurring. So little specific treatment, some touch, and maybe some lifestyle treatment. We realise that she's going to bed a little bit later. She's going to bed at midnight. And the later we stay up, the drier our body gets. It's something that's told within Ayurveda and within Chinese medicine. Staying up late aggravates the kidney meridian, which influences dryness. And staying up late aggravates Vata and increases dryness throughout the system. So we get her to go to bed early. Things that don't seem to be connected to the headache, but are actually connected to the root cause behind the headache, dryness.
Yeah. It's interesting because if I see so far, one of the main difference is how the Ayurvedic, in this case, as a form of true holistic healing, really put the time to understand what's the root cause of the disease, instead of just, that's a symptom, that's a pain, let's get rid of that.
Yeah, which is time consuming and requires understanding from the patient and them to move through the process for a period of time. and a lot of education too,
Yeah.
which brings us to the second session.
Yeah.
In the second session, we question the symptom and how it changed. And we start to go, oh, in that period of time that we haven't seen each other, it's not like come back when you see the headache. It's come back in a week and tell me how things have changed. Because the treatment that we've applied is part of diagnosis in a holistic model. We want to see if it changed with those things, then I'm going to know more about what it is. If it changed when I balanced dryness, then I've confirmed my possible diagnosis of dryness is there. So we go through the model again and I educate. And within a holistic model, at least a Thai Vedic holistic model, we don't use so much laboratory, we use our senses to gather the information, our sight, our touch, our questioning. And we teach them about what has changed inside their body, and we ask them to be more aware of certain domains of life. Through that awareness, they start to be able to guide themselves, and we educate this self-assessment process. So they can work in these, the other video we just did was the first 3 stages of disease, and not be so intense in the later 3 stages of disease and imbalance. At this point, we might do some treatment. We still, it seems like it's dryness. We're moving in the right direction. We apply some good fats and oils to lubricate the body. And we use some herbs to calm the nervous system and nourish the kidney and adrenal function. Again, working with this mind, nervous system burns up the fats and the resources of the body. That was another contributor for Mary on why the body went into dryness.
Which is why one of the important factors too on this process of healing is actually also come from the patient. Many people who are adjusted to the way of modern medicine works is like, I'm sick, I come to you, give me a magic pill. You need to heal me, instead of, what can I do myself? How can I empower my body so that I can understand it? And then actually, there's the word self-healing myself. Well, not necessarily self-healing in that like, oh, I have tumor, I'm gonna heal myself, but in the sense of like, how can I prevent that to even happening from the first place? Yeah,
it's this a lot on self-education and self-empowerment, and a lot of people are not ready for that. A lot of people want to put it on someone else and go, okay, you fix me. And in truth, even a great doctor, to really find all of the possible causes of why an imbalance could be occurring, they need to be with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to properly assess you. So the best healer is you. You need to start learning about your body and at least the basics of balancing it through life. And a traditional medicine model is the best thing to do that. Mary comes back for a 3rd visit, and again now we build on this self-assessment even more. It's like, oh, okay, what were the symptoms that you noticed? How did things change? Oh, that means this. We go through an educational process to make her understand the minor symptoms that happen. Oh, my headache's gone away, but I'm noticing that just around the lead up to my menstrual cycle, the beginning of the period there, I do notice that there's a little bit more pimples that are coming up around the face and a bit more heat that's building up, and sometimes the headache will come about then. And we go, oh, okay, so now that's happening. It's happening because of a dosha relationship. Pitta that's building up here in the digestive area, this heat and damp and dryness that's building up here. We talk about the foods that might be influencing that, so she can feel the subtle changes in her body easier. At this stage, the treatment might be touch again, something around the belly to relieve the stagnation in the liver. It's part of the heat build-up, usually comes from there. To relieve stagnation in the menstrual organs, we look at food for her, more specific now, no deep fry, increased broccoli that works with the reproductives and helps to get out the pitta from the body. And we start to look at where this deeper frustration is coming from. She's realised that below this is a subtle frustration about where her life is and the direction that it's going in. And through a holistic medicine model, we would have been able to know that frustration was part of the issue from the earliest symptoms through the holistic lenses that are there that teach us the emotional relationship. So we can subtly guide the person to realizing the frustration themselves, rather than telling them, "Are you frustrated?" We use wordings and questions to guide them in the direction of becoming aware of that themselves.
That's really interesting about what is that? That the responsibility is back on us as a patient, because really the one who have the control of our lives is actually ourselves.
Yeah. I just want to get it really clear at this point that when I say conventional medicine, allopathic, modern medicine, I'm not talking about all doctors at all. There's some great holistic doctors out there. And when I say natural medicine, Ayurveda or Ayurvedic, I'm not necessarily saying that they're all holistic. It's about the practitioner and whether they use a holistic model properly, or whether they use just a conventional model based on anatomy and physiology inside the body. An example of that might be that a naturopath who says that he's holistic, and you come in, it's Mary again, and she's got pain in the head, and he goes, "Oh, pain, I'm going to use turmeric because it's an anti-inflammatory, and I'm going to use fish oils because they decrease pain." It's a very systematic, pain-related, symptom-related treatment, and not looking into the possible causes that could be in the realms of relationships, lifestyle, and many other things.
Yeah. So let's go deeper. Can we go deeper now?
Sure.
Deeper again?
No, going deeper again.
Let's go deeper about this, the difference between two, to make it super clear.
Yeah, so we'll now directly
categories.
compare different sides, and this is a class that I go through within the Ayurvedic Holistic Healers course. And the first one we look at is philosophy. So the general philosophy of an allopathic conventional medicine is based on anatomy and physiology. It's based on, can we see something inside the organs or the physiology changing, and then we apply treatment based on what's here. The philosophy in a holistic medicine, particularly Ayurvedic, is that the body and the mind are interconnected to a larger being that we are a part of. We've evolved with this earth and this being for so long, and there's purpose within each mind and body symptom. The philosophy is to understand the reasons why behind the symptoms, and to get to the deeper causes of virtuous living, living a good life, and healing the body and others really help.
Yeah. An example for that, for example, my scoliosis condition, when I went to orthopedic doctor, then they give me a physiotherapy, and then if it's reached certain degrees, 40 degrees, then you need to put the pen along your spine. Very physiology, very anatomical. While when I see you, for example, when we first still friends, you see the correlations between my scoliosis and, oh, do you have a support in your life? How is the support that you receive from your family? That, from modern perspective, is like, what's the correlation between the family, love, support, and my very structural imbalances?
Yeah, whereas in Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, they're intimately related.
Yeah. So next category.
The next category is the primary objective of each of these different systems. So the primary objective of allopathic conventional medicine is to cure or mitigate disease. It's about, there's a disease process, we are going to cure or decrease the intensity of that disease process. Whereas the primary objective of a Ayurvedic holistic approach is to promote optimal health and purposeful living. And then as a byproduct of that, to prevent and treat disease. So it's about strengthening the whole system and living a great life. And the holistic model believes that when you're doing that, disease doesn't happen that much anyway. We don't have to focus on the disease itself so much.
Which is what is called self-healing.
Self-healing, exactly. Yeah.
Like, let's say a house. If the house has no leak, is properly maintained, then leaking is not going to happen in the first place. So it's really seeing how the whole body as a system can help itself.
The fourth one is, in a conventional medicine, is to evaluate the body with history, physical examination, and lab data. So they're really looking at evaluation a lot through laboratory type things. Yeah. There's some questioning that's involved, but it's moved away from questioning more and more in the modern age.
Yeah.
Whereas the diagnosis for a traditional medicine system is a lot of questioning. In Ayurveda, they call the Trividya. It's through question, touch, and seeing. They say that the senses, our 5 sense organs, are some of the main ways that they gather the information. So we don't need laboratory data, and it also means it's something that can be taught to the client. If I can do it with my senses, then you can do it with your senses too. And they assess different things like the 5 elements, the 3 doshas, the 7 tissues inside the body, the 3 waste products of the body, the trigunas of the mind. As they would assess these things, they're using their 5 sense organs to be able to assess different things inside those parts of the body, which will teach them about relationships to other parts of the life as well, and no question about your lifestyle. So the diagnosis is less about diagnosing one specific disease or symptom, and more about using the body and the life that you live to assess and diagnose a category, a group-connected category, like one tissue area or a dosha or a quality, and that will connect many areas.
Give me an example of a question that you use to diagnose something. Let's say I have my scoliosis. What would you ask?
What would I ask? Yeah, I might ask, has there been challenges within the support structure of your family? Do you feel there's a lack of support? Did the parents separate when you were younger? I would inquire into relational things. I would also then touch and see the spine. I'll look at the spine itself. I'll have a look at where the highest points on the spine are and where the lowest points on the spine are. And those highest points and lowest points, when I have the body laying down, are telling me about the inner organs and which organ systems might be related to where the body is pulling and pushing with the muscles internally. And that would also give me clues to question again. Is there anything you're frustrated about in a specific direction in your life? Would be you specifically, gallbladder high, liver, kidney low. They were areas I questioned.
What's the next category?
The next category is their primary treatment models. So generally, conventional medicine reaches towards drugs and surgery. That's the main treatment models that they use. There's many other treatment models, but 90% of the time, that's what you'll walk out of a conventional doctor's treatment protocol. Whereas in the Ayurvedic system, we first look at our relationship to the world. That's our primary model, is to see how can we create a more loving and wholesome connection and relationship to the world. We look at this sattva in the mind. Is the mind more harmonious and able to perceive truth itself? And able to perceive truth itself. If the mind is caught in what we call tamasic mind patterns, then it will likely do destructive choices for the body and lifestyle and not perceive properly. If it's rajasic, it'll likely make desire-filled choices, feeling that life's not complete, I need something else. All of these will lead to a disease process. So we want to create sattva in the mind. We look at the balance of doshas, lifestyle therapies, exercise, general energy enhancement throughout the system, and what's the environment that the person's in. So the treatment model is larger and looking at the whole environment.
If I put that into practice, into my personal experience, I would say, as an example of just seeing myself, instead of seeing myself like a victim, oh, this is happening to me, why me, like, oh, I'm a victim in this, compared to like, there's a reason behind of that this is something as part of my learning process. For example, especially someone like me, maybe if I don't have the diseases that I have, I'm not going to be able to even put any attention to my diet, to my exercise, to other things, and maybe I will die sooner because, you know, I'm not forced to do that early enough because of these imbalances that
we teach that there is a reason for every imbalance happening, and it creates part of who you are. It's because of my imbalances that I am the teacher I am today. So we look at their purpose and see how we can learn from them and adapt and grow from them rather than think, they're negative, I need to get rid of the symptom.
Next category.
So secondary treatment model for conventional medicine, they then start to look at diet, exercise, physical therapy and stress management if they're an okay doctor. Then for Thai Vedic, we're going to start looking at body work and touch therapies to interact with the body and go, oh, okay, maybe I can help you out to get some more movement and energy flowing through a certain part of the body. We look at dosha balancing diets, pressure points, structural therapies. We'll look at botanical medicines, herbs, moxibustion, essential oils, a huge range of secondary treatments. So our primary treatments focus on what can you do yourself. Our secondary treatments are what can I do to you, or what herbs or substances can help you. So
next category.
The next category is the weakness. So the weakness of allopathic conventional medicine is chronic disease. So when a disease is recurring and it continues for quite a period of time, generally they're treatment models which focus on symptoms and covering up or pacifying the symptoms don't get such long-term results. And it encourages an external reliance. It's like go back towards the doctor, go back towards the pharmaceutical medication to keep this symptom at bay. Whereas in a Thai Vedic holistic model, the weakness is that it is time intensive for the giver and receiver, for both people. There's lots of time involved in the process, and it's requiring a commitment to the healing process, not just a quick fix. They've got to really commit to it. So that is a weakness, meaning that it doesn't always work with many clients, because if they're not willing to keep spending the time, possibly coming back to the practitioner to get the education, or willing to apply things themselves, then there's not enough time to really get the results.
This is exactly it. For example, pimple. Especially for women and live in the city, for example, because what people think of you, that impression is like really big. So then what's quick thing? Okay, laser or this cream or that cream.
Roaccutane.
It's disappeared, but the thing is still inside there. So it might not come through the pimple, but it will still find another pathway.
It's likely to manifest in other areas. I have treated a client who had taken Roaccutane, a very, very strong, with lots of side effects, pharmaceutical medicine that can be very effective for acne, especially quite intense acne, but that pitta that was contributing towards that ended up presenting somewhere else in the body there and moving to another system.
So sometimes what takes longer might actually be worth it. Like your dad often said, the hard road leads to the easy road. And the easy road
leads to the hard road.
Next category.
The next category is the strengths. So the strengths of allopathic conventional medicine is that it is great for emergency and acute disease. If I come off my motorbike and I've just split myself open or broken a bone, take me to the hospital. If I'm having a heart attack or some emergency situation, allopathic conventional medicine is incredible. We don't want to look at, oh, did this get caused by your relationship? At that moment, we just want to treat the symptom. We want to get the body back into vitalness again. Don't die. Conventional medicine is superior and incredible when it comes to emergency medicine. So I give it full thumbs up in that regard. At the same time, if I came on my motorbike and I went to the hospital, the next day, I would also want to be looking at a holistic treatment. I want to work with someone who can help my whole body recover and nourish its function back into balance again. So the strengths of a holistic model is that it puts patient responsibility, preventing and treating chronic disease. It saves money, because if we decrease disease and we have more ability to work with ourselves, we don't need as many visits to the doctor or a hospital or some intensive long-term treatment. So it saves money in the long run. In the beginning, it might seem like it costs more, but it's an investment which saves money. And it's essential for optimal health. The holistic model is needed. If you really want to be living at your peak potential, then we need to start looking holistically at how life is connected.
Next category.
The next category is the speed. So comparing the speed of them, allopathic, conventional medicine, quick results, but a tendency to high side effects. So we went through the Roaccutane, the medicine we were just talking about, for very strong acne conditions, has very many side effects. that happen with it, imbalances in liver function, dryness throughout the eyes that occur, and sometimes that occurs for years afterwards. I had a client that was suffering from dry eyes 5 years after taking Neuroaccutane.
Wow.
So it can really alter long-term functions inside the body. Again, not that they're bad. Antibiotics can be incredible in an emergency situation. Yet the side effects from taking antibiotics is that it disrupts the biome, our bacterial balance. Studies have shown it can take 2 years for most people to balance that biome back from taking one course of antibiotics. It's like burning out a forest. It takes a while. You want to get the forest to grow back again. It's going to take a long time to build a rainforest. You know? So antibiotics are like burning through that bacterial balance, your internal rainforest. Speed, for Ayurvedic holistic medicine model, it is slow acting, but it has low side effects. So you'll need to apply things for a much longer period. And I think Zia is a good testament to that. When we first met, she had more of a tendency to pimples, and the treatment required years of ups and downs with really applying the treatment to get the results and where she's at today.
So just share my personal experience on going through this holistic healing treatments from you is that first it really requires my openness with it, especially for someone that never have experience with this. It's like, what? I need to take that long? I need to learn all of these things. The first one is really openness of these new things that I've never come across before.
To learn a new language. Yeah.
The second one is trust. I think trust is such an important factor that people often see, like, I have the analogy of like, if you don't even open yourself, you don't even ask, then how can other people help you? So second factor, trust is important. Third one, I think patience, especially for someone like me who don't have experience with holistic medicine before. I want things to be quick. Like, oh, I have a headache, I usually just eat this pill and it's gone. And then now I need to like ask myself, where is it from, which diet and all that.
Suffer through the headache 6 times to start going, oh, okay, I'm tracking it. When did it come up? When did it go down?
Yeah.
To really be aware and track your own systems. Yeah.
So patient. Third one is a fourth one. What else do you want to add? That's just what come up to
I would say the most important summary comparison is allopathic conventional medicine is awesome for emergency situations. When you're like, this is life-threatening or I cannot handle that symptom. And try and find good holistic medicine practitioners and keep having some regular visit with them. Whether it's once a year when you're healthy, or once a month if you're working with something that's not so intense, or every week if it's a really intense chronic condition, to keep fine-tuning your way to heal yourself.
Cool. That's it.
Great.
Thank you.
Great to share with you. For those who would like to help others heal holistically, or just wishing to have more control in their own self-care, check out the programs on ayurvedicyoga.com. I've brought together some of the world's best health experts, teaching people what I consider are the 6 most important branches of holistic medicine. Hope to see you there.
Now, theory without practice is wasteful because hearing leads to forgetting, teaching leads to remembering, and applying leads to mastering. That's why we will encourage you to leave a comment below and share one learning insight from this video. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe so you will be the first to hear our future educational videos. And for more resources on health and healing, check out our website holisticnomads.com. There you will find a lot of articles, quizzes on Ayurveda and other free downloads, as well as our future events and courses. Thank you so much for watching. We hope it's been beneficial for you and hope to talk to you next week. Bye!